Hey, what's up? Okay, let's explain this role a little bit more, huh? Because this is not a role that I think anyone else has. Any other brand, maybe parts of it, but this is also a role that we've been getting kind of more and more expansive with what this role could entail. So, to the point where this might not be the role of an individual, which means at the end of this video, I'm going to be asking you to communicate some stuff back to us about your vision for the role. Basically convince us that give us confidence that you'd be a great fit for the role, all that stuff. So being that this role might not even be the role of a single individual, focus on the parts as I'm talking that you think you'd be great at, and then let us know the parts that might be outside of your realm of your experience or just whatever. So anyway, the initial part of the role that I first came up with is all based on the concept that whereas all other product brands out there view customer service as an expense, it's a necessity, it's a business foundation. You have to have it, but it's like an annoyance to the business. It comes at a cost. And so while everyone else is using stuff like bots, like FAQ, fact pages, copy and paste templates, all these things to make it more efficient for the brand or the business to be able to respond to customer inquiries or even reduce the amount of customer inquiries coming in, like FAQ pages. To me, that's like mind-blowing. It's like we should pay money to have the opportunity to be able to speak one-on-one with someone that's either a current customer or a potential customer, because that opportunity is like we can develop a relationship, especially in a one-on-one situation. Like that's the best opportunity in general to develop a relationship with someone. And that's ultimately where, product brands in general are going, is building community, building relationships, etc. And I very much believe in that. To the extent that I even want us to be able to do that in a very organic and genuine level, and not just like a cookie cutter strategic level, in terms of like building community, building relationship with the individuals, etc., etc. So if we take our normal customer service experience, which is customers contact us and then we try to resolve their inquiry, their issue, but then we build on top of that to where we are trying to nurture a genuine relationship that can eventually turn into numerous ways of creating value from that. Just off the top of my head, I mean, obviously we can always like try to sell more to them, like upsell, get them to buy a larger size, or instead of buying an individual product, buy one of our bundles of products, or cross-sell, like buy significant, like a whole lot more products that all relate to each other. So obviously sales is one angle, but in the e-commerce world in general, and especially Amazon, which is still a huge part of our focus right now, reviews are insanely valuable. Brands right now are buying Amazon reviews for anywhere between like around $100 US. So if we can nurture a 5-star review out of a customer through the relationship building, then that is insanely valuable. That's $100 value is like a $330 purchase price, because $100 of profit comes from about $330 of sale. So to be able to just nurture that, huge. User-generated content in general, selfie photos with the product, or lifestyle photos, video testimonials, all kinds of just user-generated content that we can use for various forms of marketing, ads, our funnels, whatever. Pushing to like subscriptions. So if it's Amazon, it's subscribe and save. If it's anything off Amazon, it's just normal subscriptions. Referrals, engagement. So now if we build a relationship with them, maybe now they're engaging on our social media posts, which the more engagement we have, the more our algorithms build. So anyway, there are tons and tons of ways that a single individual, without any normal like influence. So not even an influencer, which by the way, sometimes these people just end up being an influencer, or end up being a business owner that would buy from us in bulk, or something like that. But even if it's just, a random everyday person, there's still so much value that one person can contribute back to us. So we want to really invest in trying to build that relationship. And so not only do we want to try to steer customer service inquiries into that, so this role at just this level is about building strategy for that. Well, first of all, like interpreting the value that an individual can create. So I just communicated a bunch of those. So how do we build strategy of nurturing a relationship? And then how do we build strategy of once we have a relationship, a one-on-one relationship, how do we then get them to do these things that would be valuable for us, but in an organic means where, they want to do it. And we don't necessarily even have to bribe them to do it, which is, really common, especially in the Amazon world. So first it starts with just the inquiries that are already coming in. Next level is how do we create scenarios in which people are going to engage with us one-on-one? Like how do we prompt that? How do we promote that? How do we gain more inquiries intentionally? Then it's, how do we, so this is where the higher level that this role even evolved to further once I started talking to our social media squad. So they're like, Brandon, basically where you're eventually getting at is, you need like a community leader. And it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Because we don't have this right now. So like building Facebook groups and stuff like that. And then having a place to funnel people into. And so part of this role isn't just this global role. Again, this might not be a single individual, is building an actual online community, Facebook group, running the Facebook group. And then how do we create value for people to want to not only join the Facebook group, but to ultimately engage in the Facebook group and, even recruit people to the Facebook group, these kinds of things. So, yeah. Let me pause here. I want to brainstorm a few more thoughts. Keep going. Okay, so yeah, it's part of it is how do we strategize the nurturing of the relationship and then gaining value from the relationship from the people that are already inquiring with us. And that includes the people that are pissed at us for, whatever reason, late shipment, broken shipment, didn't like the product, whatever. But just in general, how do we nurture the relationship? Then once it's nurtured, like once the relationship's created, how do we gain value from that? How do we realize value from that? And again, it's about them viewing us as an individual and at the very least as humans, and not thinking like from the perspective of I'm talking to a business, I'm talking to a blank slated brand. We need them to realize that they're talking to an individual. So that's why things like copy and paste and stuff, we need to get rid of that. Automated bot flows, need to get rid of that. Maybe not entirely, but maybe there's like, a couple pieces of the bot flow that then funnel into custom conversation, whatever. So anyway, nurturing the relationships from people already coming in, gaining value from the people that are already coming in, building a space to let these people congregate together. So, Facebook group's the most obvious one, but we can probably build out from there, maybe even have our own app, stuff like that. Then how do we find people outside of just the people that are finding us? Where do we find them? And then how do we funnel them into the group? How do we funnel them into one-on-one conversations? Then how do we gain value from the collective? So there's gaining value from the individual. Then it's how do we communicate to an entire collective? And what kind of value can they get us? So that could be stuff like promotions for a huge campaign of like specific user-generated content, maybe on a new product launch. Like, hey guys, we're launching a new product. We need like 5 video testimonials. We need 10 people like putting on the product. Blah 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 blah. So the biggest thing is going to be, well, I shouldn't say the biggest thing. It's being creative to figure out how we find more of these people that have never even like heard of our brand before. How do we get in front of them? So, some obvious ideas to me anyway is, getting ourselves out there in YouTube. That's a pretty easy one. Getting into Reddit, starting to build a presence in existing forums for like things related to our product brand. So if we're talking about like Tree Active, our natural skincare brand, let's get into some natural skincare brand forums, subreddits, WhatsApp groups, Telegram groups, whatever, and not just spam them. We have to create value. So how do we do that? We want to jump in there and create value for people, not just be this spammy business. And everything has to be organic. Yeah, there's a degree of strategy there, but at the end of the day, we truly have to want to create value so that people actually believe and feel us wanting to create value. It can't just come off as like cookie cutter shit that people can see through. And honestly, that's not what I want to do anyway. I actually want to use our influence to actually do good for this world. Doing good for this world right now is not that significant when we're just slinging products on Amazon. So we need to do a little bit more than that. This is one of those directions in which we can do more than that. We can create, information for people. So for example, this is actually really cool. The video I'm going to do right after this one actually is to recruit a dermatologist to our team so that we can offer to purchasing customers and to our communities free consultations. And so picture like Facebook groups, the ability to have we'll have like live webinars, like live video chats in which customers can either submit questions beforehand or live on the spot or whatever. So like it's that level of creativity that you should be thinking of what we can offer. So sure, there's elements of this idea that other brands are already doing, and we may as well observe those, analyze them, try to improve them. I love that we're innovators. We're definitely innovators, but like let's look at what other people are doing and then let's see what we can improve on it. Or if it's just awesome what other people are doing, we'll bring that into our stuff too. So that pretty much explains the role, at least at like a pretty high level. What we'd like to have from you is respond back, via video, so we can really feel you out, and let us know what aspects of this resonate the most with you, or maybe all of it, whatever. And be really honest about the aspects that don't resonate with you. Like, I have no experience doing that, and I'm probably not the person for that. That's fine, because I really, no matter what, we're going to be building a team of people around this idea. So we already have a customer service team, and we even have like a customer service leader. They will have to get trained by probably you on how to, go from just handling inquiries to, funneling into value creation and nurturing relationship. But we're still going to have a team on top of that for everything else I'm talking about. And this team might have more than one strategist, more than one visionary, more than one leader, or it might have a visionary and strategist and then a leader to execute. So talk about what you think your best role would be. And again, maybe it's everything. If you really feel confident that's everything, fine, we'll check you out for everything. Maybe you don't feel that you would be a visionary or a strategist or, at this point in time, a leader. But maybe you feel like you would be a phenomenal executor of this, receiving leadership and ideas from someone else. Communicate that. So when we're actually, I think what the job post is probably going to read is, visionary, strategist, leader. But, if you don't think that's you, then just be honest, because, we're going to be recruiting more than that. So anyway, respond back. Give us confidence that, we're like, yeah, shit, this person gets it. Let's bring them in. The absolute ideal world is just from your video, we're going to be like, yep, they get it. No additional videos, no additional questions, no additional anything. That's what you're shooting for here. Now, if you don't get to that point, that's fine. But if you give us a little positivity, a little confidence, then we'll ask you more questions. Might do a video back and forth, whatever. No problem there. But you're shooting for one video back to us, as long as you want, as short as you want, as long as you want. It doesn't matter. There's no point in making anything super long if it doesn't need to be. But you don't have to be so short. Like I personally will be watching your videos, so be as long as you want, be as short as you want. Just Yeah, that's the goal, is make us feel confident that you are a good person to have in this. We call them pods, so, or team for easy, to be in this team and what you think your role would be. So I'm all about creativity. Share, if you can think of some creative ideas that'll be like, yep, this person gets it. Share your creative ideas. If you're not a creative person but you have experience into this, communicate that experience that you have. Or if you are a researcher and if you really want this job, then maybe you can do a little bit of research and figure out what other people are doing and then bring that to the table. This is a very open-ended. We're building a team right now, so it's very open-ended. We can use lots of different brain types, lots of different skills, lots of different experiences. The number one thing is that you have interest and you have passion in this. That's the number one thing. If you have that, then you'll work. Also talk about the brands, or at least like the industry, the market. So, like we have clean ingredient skincare. We used to call it natural, but it's not a term that the FDA really lets us use anymore. So clean ingredient, like personal care, skincare, hair care, household goods. We have dietary supplements. We have teas. We have natural, healthy sweeteners. Basically like everything in like the health and wellness product realm. We're doing or we're building right now. We're actually launching like a shit ton more brands over the next few months. So talk about that as well. What markets are you the most interested in, and share your knowledge of that, because that'll be another aspect. We want people that really know certain angles or certain aspects of the market. Like if you really know skincare, if you have a personal interest in it, communicate that to me. But if you don't, that's fine too. Not every single person has to have this like huge amount of knowledge. For example, I just told you about the dermatologist. Like if we have a dermatologist on the team, that can be that's the knowledge base. We don't really need to have anyone else. It's always good to have anyone else that has knowledge. We don't absolutely need it. So be honest, be honest, be honest, be honest. That's the hugest thing. Be super honest. All right, cool. Well, look forward to watching your video, and yeah, let me know how you feel about this. It's a cool idea.